thought it might be interesting to talk about the ethos of my business and my life in general, because I think there's a lot of misinformation on YouTube about how photographers live, about what it is we're trying to achieve, because we're all different. We all have very different ideals. And I live my life in a very specific way for very specific reasons. Now, to give this all some context, I'm reasonably educated. I have a degree and a master's. I have had big, high-paying day jobs, sort of six-figure salaries, and I've had very low-paying day jobs. I've been homeless and I have been wealthy. I have been pretty much everywhere in between, and thanks to that slight adventure, it's allowed me to decide exactly what it is that I want from life. And I've built my business in order to live the life that I would like. Now, there's lots of things I could do differently. There's lots of things I could change, but I like the way things work. And I thought I'd share that with you just in case there's something within that which you think, yeah, do you know what? That's what I want. Because sometimes you just need to hear someone else say it's okay to do it this way in order for you to feel that, yes, I can give myself that privilege of doing this. Now, first and foremost, I'm very fortunate. I have very low overheads. So I actually live off about 12 grand a year. My salary is £12,000 a year. That's not how much the business makes. That's not how much the photography in the Tin House studio makes, but that's what I live on, which affords me to be able to go out twice a month. That's all I do, just when the kids aren't here. Have maybe 4 or 5 holidays a year and, pay all the bills, put petrol in my car, all the things I need to do as a photographer. I don't spend a lot. I don't own a lot. I wear the same clothes pretty much every day. This is a homemade jacket. This jacket here, my overshirt, is my only overshirt. And then I own 20 black t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, and 3 hoodies. That's my lot. Quite a few pairs of boots, but that's because they're on rotation to save money. But I like to not spend money on things I don't need. Now, the joys of making 12 grand a year are many. One is tax bills are nice and easy to sort out. 2 is you don't really have to worry about where your money is because you kind of know it's a small amount to manage, which I find particularly useful. Now, of course, I have savings and other things as well, but we're just talking about what I live off. The third thing is, every time I get a job, my jobs tend to be rounded off to the 1,000. If I do a £50,000 shoot, or say there's £50,000 profit from a shoot, more to the point, I've got 50 months of living. And that fills me with glee. The fact that I can look at a job and go, well, if I do this job, I don't have to work again for 30 months. Brilliant. That's great. If I do this job, it's another 10 months. And this one here is going to give me 120 months of salary. These things are very important to me. And it's how I live my life. It's how I like to come to my studio every day. I come in here, I hang out, I do my work, and I create the images I want to create. Now, obviously, there is more money coming in than the money I need for my salary, as there should be in any business. And I use that money to create my artwork. When I want to create a new shoot, if I need to get in an entire crew, I can just hire them in. If I need to hire some expensive equipment for a test shoot, I can go and do that. If I need to take 3 months off work because I broke my leg, it's no bother. And these things really help me personally live a very low stress life. I don't have debts. I don't have credit cards. I don't buy things on hire purchase or whatever it is, rent things and things like that. I just live a very frugal life. And I think the idea that the way a lot of photographers live is that they live very elaborate lives. They drive expensive cars. I drive a Kia Picanto. They wear expensive clothes. They stay in expensive hotels, and they, all the rest of it, all these things that go with the territory, I suppose. They go out partying every night. And I have lived that life as a photographer, but it wasn't for me. And what I found has made me happier over the years is just reducing my life, making it smaller. And for a lot of my life, I was making it bigger. It was always bigger parties, traveling more, living in bigger houses, I lived in an apartment in Shanghai with 9 balconies. Like, I don't need 9 balconies. I had a driver, and then there was a guy downstairs who drove me a little go-kart from the front door to my driver. And then we had a maid or 2. And ridiculous things. And then on the flip side of that, when that all went terribly wrong, I ended up with absolutely nothing. And I had to stay in a place where you queue up for the night and sleep there and then leave for the day and then come back and queue up again. And the 2 extremes are quite drastic, but I found my happy place is somewhere in the middle. So what I think is good to do, because it's very easy just to go, let's work more, let's work harder, let's do more, let's get more money. is actually work out what it is that makes you happy, what it is that you want to be able to do. So for me, it's coming to this really quiet studio. Listen to this. That is what my day sounds like. It's incredibly quiet. There's no chaos. There's no noise. There's nobody here but me. Most of the time. We have stuff in sometimes. Don't like it, but I need them. But that's what I like. I then have a creative idea and I can afford to do whatever I want for that creative idea. If I need to go to Spain next week to go and shoot a creative idea, I can just go and do that. Because I live well within my means. I pay myself a minutiae of the gross income that we create. During COVID, I didn't have to worry. During whatever happens next, I don't have to worry because I live such a small little life. I don't buy expensive watches, designer clothing, fancy cars, any of that sort of like fast life stuff. And I have done. I've absolutely done that. But now I just don't care. And I think because of that, I can look at jobs and go, here's a job that's coming in. It's not much money. Does it look fun? Yes, let's do it. Here's a job comes in. It's worth 12 months' salary. Is it fun? No, but it means I don't have to work for another 12 months. Let's do that job. And it makes my life so simple. I stick to the same routines every day. Everything is just nice, succinct. And by paying myself a smaller salary, it doesn't allow me to have to worry about bigger things. I have friends who've got car finances of like £600 a month they're paying just to drive to a job, which in my mind is absolutely ludicrous. Like, why would you pay for a car to get to work, to make a paycheck, to pay for the car, to go to work, to get a paycheck, to, round and round and round you go? That is not for me. I would much rather pay for a life, pay for a lifestyle, and then start working backwards. So I do think what we should all go away and do is work out what your dream lifestyle is, what it is that actually makes you happy, what you need within those 7 days of your week to be a content person, and then start building your business from that point onward. Because it made such a difference to my life. My work is so much better now than it was, say, 5 years ago when I lived a bit more of an elaborate life. And of course, I have certain benefits. I'm a white male living in England. Like, we're pretty... I can walk into most places and look like I belong there. That's a very privileged position to be in. But regardless of where you may find yourself right now, I think it's important to know what it is you're aiming for. And it always keeps you on the straight and narrow during the working day. I'm like, oh, do you know what? There's some really boring stuff I've got to do today. I'm like, yes, but remember, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to make any more money to pay for these ridiculous outgoings that your life has. Most of my friends who make a lot less than me, if you look at like the actual profit the business makes, they spend a lot more than me and they're unhappy, or they're constantly stressed about money because they're living to the limit of their means, or a lot of them actually live beyond their means. I wouldn't name who they are, but some of my friends live way beyond their means. I know what they make as an annual salary and I know what their lifestyle's like, and I know they're living on debt, they're living on credit, and that can't be a happy place. Maybe it is. Some people it doesn't seem to bother them. But for me personally, I like the simplest life possible. The more simple, the more easy, the less resistance, the better my life is for me. And that's just me personally, but hopefully you can take something from this and go, oh, do you know what? Maybe that's for me as well. Maybe that's how I want to live my life. And knowing that you do it that way makes me feel okay about doing it the same. Because for a long time, I knew I wanted this life, but I didn't know anyone else doing it, so I felt really worried. All my friends were buying designer clothes and sports cars, and I was like, oh, maybe I should be doing that. Maybe what I'm doing is wrong. But I just dived in and hoped for the best, and I could not be happier with where my life is now because of that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. A bit off-piste, but there we go. See you soon. Bye-bye.